105. Curt Davis won 13 ball games and lost 7 this year for the Dodgers, and he pitched 5 shutouts. The umpires are still down here around the home plate, and you'll hear a big cheer as the Yankees go out onto the field. Now, the Yankees are wearing their home uniforms. The first game in Yankee Stadium, they're wearing their home uniforms, their white uniform with their black caps and black stockings, and the Dodgers are in their familiar traveling uniform, their gray uniform with the blue caps and blue stockings. There's a last-minute huddle in each one of the dugouts. The Brooklyn dugout is down here to our right in back of first base, and the Yankees have their own home dugout, which is behind third. Red and I are in a wonderful point of vantage here, fans, to tell you fans all over the world about this World Series. I could almost drop a pencil right here and would almost touch home plate. There the Yankees go onto the field. Listen to that cheer. All right, the Yankees are out there on the field. Let's take a look at them now as they line up again. Fans who are keeping your scorecards or scoreboard someplace will get a chance to recheck your lineup. As I look onto the field...
Peanuts! Get your peanuts here!
Joe DiMaggio is all set in center field. Henrich is walking into right field. He has his back to us, and that number 7 shows up on his white uniform. At third base is the veteran Red Rolfe. At shortstop, Phil Rizzuto, one of the outstanding rookies of the year. At second base is Gordon. For a left-handed hitter, he can hit as well to left field as anybody in baseball. Here's the first pitch. It's a ball, a little bit too low that time. Ruffing threw in a fastball that was just a little bit too low, and it's ball 1. This Ruffing's cheap stock in trade, of course, are his fastball. He's got a good slider, and he's got a swell curve. He's all ready. Here's the pitch. There's a ball. It's low again. The pitch was in just a little bit too low. The umpire, Bill McGowan, went way down to take a look at it. And so there have been 2 pitchers now in this first World Series game. Walker has not offered at either of them. Nobody on, nobody out. First half of the first inning at New York, and the World Series is underway. Ruffing gets his sign. He starts that slow windup. Here's the pitch. There's a ball. It missed the corner waist high. Ball 3 for Walker. Charlie Dresden is coaching over at third base for Brooklyn, and Lippy DeRocher, the manager of the Dodgers, is coaching at first. Brooklyn wearing gray uniforms with blue caps and blue stockings, the Yankees in white. Ruffing is 3-0 count, gets ready, here's the pitch, it's a ball. Walker walked on 4 pitch balls. Walker walked on 4 pitch balls, and only one of them was close. That was the third one, that waist-high pitch, you remember, that just missed the corner. The other 3 were definitely balls. Now the next man to bat is Billy Herman, the former Cubs captain and second baseman. Hit 285 for the Dodgers and drove in 40 runs. Billy has been one of the main cogs in this Dodger drive. He's up in there now with a teammate on first base and nobody out in the first half of the first inning. Walker content with a very short lead off. Here's the pitch. There he goes down, a hit and run on the first pitch, and he bounces one down to the third baseman, Rolfe, to play to first. He's out. He's out at first base. Rolfe to Sturm. The hit and run was put on the very first pitch. Billy Herman hitting the ball down to the third baseman, Rolfe, who came in fast and threw him out. And so Brooklyn has a man in the scoring position. Walker is out on second, and the next man to bat, the National League's leading hitter, Petey Reeser, who hit 343 and drove in 74 runs. One man on, one out in the first inning for the Dodgers. Here's the left-hand hitter, Petey Reeser. Most of the experts look upon Reeser of Brooklyn and Rizzuto of the Yankees as 2 of the outstanding young players of the year. The first pitch, he swings a high fly ball to dead center field. DiMaggio going just a bit to his right and back about 10 feet. He caught it. And now the runner from second starts to make a motion to go to third, but he goes back. Walker started as though he might be going to go to third. I believe it was just to draw a throw and to see what kind of a throw in DiMaggio would make. And then he went back to second. And so the runner is still on second base with 2 out for the Dodgers. And the next man to come up is Dolph Camilli. Camilli, a great ball player, hit 285 and drove in 121 for the Dodgers. 120 runs driven in. And on second base for the Dodgers, Camilli batting. The outfield is swung off to the right. It's Keller in left field, DiMaggio in center field, and Henrich in right field. DiMaggio takes 10 more steps toward right field. Here's Dolph Camilli up, number 4 in the back of his gray uniform. A chance to put the Dodgers in the lead if he gets a hit. Ruffing is set, a fastball. He swings and misses. And that was plenty fast. Did you hear that yell from the crowd? Dolph Camilli went all the way around.
Peanuts, get your peanuts here.
Believe me, that crowd really broke out in a spontaneous yell. Dodgers batting in the first inning. Walk around second base and 2 out, and their first baseman, Dolph Camilli, up in there. Ruffing gets the sign again from Dickey. Here's the next pitch. It's a ball, very high and very wide, and it's 1-1. Ball 1 and strike 1. There isn't much of a wind today. Notice the flags up here on top of the stand, blowing in every direction, but just lightly. There's not any strong wind. If anything, it's blowing away. It's blowing away from the plate. The pitcher does not have the benefit of the wind. The flag in center field now is pointed the other way. Here comes the next pitch, and Camilli takes a fast one that's a little bit too low. Ruffing walked in a few feet. He folds his arms. He didn't like the count so much. It's ball 2 and strike 1. Ball 2 and strike 1 on Camilli, with Walker on second base and 2 out. Ruffing working very deliberately out there. Big, stocky right-hander. Getting all set again. Walker on second base is content with a short leadoff. The Yankees talk it up out there in the infield, up to the old pepper. Now they're all set. Ruffing is ready. Here's the next pitch. Camilli swings and misses. That pitch was right up around his shoulders and inside. And Camilli went all the way around trying to give it a ride. Now Dolph walks out of the batter's box and gets some dirt on his hands. Brooklyn players in the dugout. Half of them are leaning out over the edge of the dugout, watching play intently. Charlie Dresden in the third base coaching box is standing still. Lippy DeRocher coaching at first, keeps pacing up and down. The man on second base for Brooklyn, and there's 2 out, and there's a count of 2-2 on Dolph Camilli. Ruffing gets set. Here it is. He struck him out. He went all the way around trying to hit that ball, and he struck him out. And so, friends, in the first half of the first inning of this ball game, the first game of the World Series, Walker walked, Herman bounced to Rolfe, Rosar flied to DiMaggio, and Camilli went down swinging. So it is no runs and no hits. As the ball game goes into the last half of the first inning, and now the Brooklyn team is going onto the field. There's little Petey Rosar going out to center field, putting on his sunglasses, getting his cap on. Going into left field is Joe Medwick, a veteran World Series play. Going into right field is Dixie Walker, who's played great ball for Brooklyn all year. And around the infield for the Dodgers, Lavagetto is playing third. Reese is playing short. Billy Herman at second. Camilli at first. Owen is catching, and Curt Davis, a slender right-hander, is doing the pitching. I told you before that Curt Davis is what is known as a real low ball specialist. He's a famous sidearm pitcher. He's got a sinker ball, and he keeps that ball in low. When he has one of his good days, he's a mighty tough customer for right-handers or left-handers to hit. And so we have 2 wonderful pitchers in this first game and 2 great teams. Now the first man to bat for the Yankees is Johnny Sturm. Sturm hit 239 for the year and batted in 36 runs. Sturm, number 34 in the back of his white uniform, is about to step in. Now let's see how the defense is straight away in the outfield. Rosar is right in line with second base. Left fielder, right fielder playing just about a normal position. Third baseman Lavagetto is drawn in a bit. Here's the first pitch to Sturm. It's a strike. Gets right down the middle. Called strike on Johnny Sturm. Art Fletcher is coaching at third for New York. Earl Combs, the former Gray Eagle, is coaching over there at first. Former great outfielder himself. Now he's all ready. Here's the next pitch, and Sturm swings. There's the first hit of the series. The line drive to left field. Sturm slams a line drive over Lavagetto's head, and there is the first hit of the World Series. Now the next man to come up is Red Rolfe, the left-handed batter. Curt Davis getting his sign, watching that man Sturm on first base, who has a short lead off. Here's
peanuts, get your peanuts here.
The outfield is not playing too deep. Rolfe is what we know as a line hitter. Hits that ball in the line or hits that line drive, and the outfield is not playing very deep. Davis throws to first, but the runner's back in plenty of time. Davis, a tall, slender right-hander on the mound, up over his head, keeps an eye on that base runner. Here's the next pitch to Rolfe. Hits the ball wide, waist high, and it's ball 2. It's 2-0 now for Rolfe. The umpire back at the plate today is Bill McGowan of the American League. Lavagetto steps in a few feet at third base. Sturm on first base, edging off again. Nobody out. Here's the pitch. There's a swing and a ground ball to Camilli. Camilli makes the play at second base. It is out at second. A very close play over there. Camilli threw that ball to second base where Reese was covering, and it was a force out on Sturm, and it was a very close play. It was a bouncing ball down the first base line to Camilli, and even though that runner was well down to second base, Dolph took a chance, and he got him at second base on a very close play. 1 out. Now here's Henrich, the right fielder. Hit .275 for the year. Yankees have a man on first base with 1 out in the last half of the first. There's no score in the game. Davis is ready. Here's the pitch. A beautiful curve and around his knees, and it's a called strike. The outfield is swung a bit to the right. The center fielder, Rosar, is beat. He's moved back for Henrich. He's off a bit to the right. Now somebody's wig-wagging from the Brooklyn dugout and motioning Medwick to move over a bit toward center field. And so they're playing Henrich as a right field hitter, as a pull hitter. Davis is ready again. Here's the next pitch. There's a curve, and he hits the ground ball down to the second baseman. Over to second base, out, back over to first. He's safe. No double play. The play went from Billy Herman to Reese to Camilli. The play at first was not close. So there's 2 outs. Now here's Joe DiMaggio. Joe hit .357 for the Yankees. Drove in 125 runs. Certainly go down in the record book as one of the great players of all time. Joe DiMaggio up in there, a right-handed batter. 2 gone here in the last half of the first inning. Curt Davis raised his arm over his head, drops him down. There's the runner going down, and there's a fly ball into left field. The left fielder, Medwick, is coming over near the line. Should get it, and he does get it to retire the side. So 1 man is left on the bases. It is no run and 1 hit for New York, and that is the end of the first inning.
If you missed the opening of this broadcast, you also missed an important announcement. Gillette dealers are giving away a 25-cent tube of Gillette shaving cream, lather or brushless, with the purchase of 10 Gillette Blue Blades. Remember, you pay nothing for the cream. But there's no score, and we're going into the second inning.
Well, the Yankees are all set out there in the field now, fans. First inning, there wasn't much damage done. Dodgers drew a walk in their half. The Yankees had a hit in their half. It was made by Johnny Sturm. And the first man to bat for Brooklyn will be their left fielder, Joe Medwick. Medwick hit .318 for the season and batted in 88 runs. The outfield is all ready. Keller in left field, DiMaggio in center field, Henrich in right field, Rolfe at third, Rizzuto at short, Gordon at second, Sturm at first, Dickey catching, and Ruffing pitching. We're going to repeat the lineups occasionally during the course of the broadcast for you fans who might be tuning in late. Now here's Medwick up, no score as we start the second inning. Ruffing stretches a bit out there. The outfield is playing a bit to the left for Medwick. DiMaggio is off a bit from center field into left field, and he swings and misses the first pitch. Medwick went all the way around trying to give that first pitch of Ruffing's a ride, and he missed it. Number 6 on the back of his gray uniform. Medwick is leading off in the first half of the second. Now Ruffing is getting his sign again. Here's the next pitch, a fastball, and he hits it foul up into the screen right below our mutual broadcasting booth. And it is 2 strikes for Medwick. Red Rolfe is playing this hitter over near the third baseline, just a few feet to his right. Medwick hits that ball a lot down that left field line. DiMaggio is playing him a bit off center toward left field. Joe holds that bat out in front of him, swings it around a couple of times, holds it with one hand. Now he has both hands a hold of it. Ruffing leans over a bit. He's starting his windup. Here comes the next pitch, and it's a ball. It's high, right above his chin, and it's ball 1 and strike 2 for Medwick. No score in the ball game. We're in the second inning. Nobody on, nobody out for the Dodgers. Joe Medwick up. The pitchers are Ruffing and Curt Davis. Ruffing leans on that right foot, swings around. Here comes the next pitch. He struck him out. He went for a curveball right across the letters, and he struck him out. Medwick struck out. Now the next batter is Cookie Lavagetto, the third baseman. Hit 277 for the Dodgers and batted in 78 runs. Lavagetto, stepping into the batter's box, number 5 in the back of his gray uniform, alternated throughout the course of the year with Riggs quite a bit at third base. But DeRocher is stringing along with Cookie in the series. There's a long foul up into the stands way down the right field line. Lavagetto swung at Ruffing's first pitch and hit it up into the upper deck. Now a new ball has been tossed out to Big Red. Walks around out there, has his back turned to the hitter. Now he turns around facing him. Juggles that ball around in his glove. Lavagetto in sort of a semi-crouch. Ruffing starts his wind-up again. Here's the next pitch to Lavagetto, and Lavagetto swings and misses. That pitch was right in around his waist, and Harry went all the way around trying to give it a ride, and he missed. And so it is 2 strikes for Lavagetto, 1 out and nobody on in the first half of the second. No score in the ball game. Ruffing leans on that right foot again. He has his sign, swings around. Here's the pitch. He hits the ground ball through the box. The shortstop is up with the ball. There's the peg. He's out, and it wasn't close. Rizzuto went to his left hurriedly towards second base, came up with that bouncing ball through the box, and threw Lavagetto out, and he was out by 10 feet. 2 gone. Now the next batter is the shortstop, the little Colonel, Pee Wee Reese. Hit 228 for the Dodgers and batted in 47 runs. Ruffing looks him over. There's 2 out and nobody on. Big Red is starting his wind-up. Here's the pitch, and it's in close. Reese jumps away from ball 1. Steps out of the batter's box and dries his hand. Now he gets up in there again. The Yankee outfield pulls in about 15 feet for Reese, and they're playing him straight away. Ruffing has his sign. He starts his wind-up. Here's the next pitch to Reese, and Reese takes a beautiful fastball right down the middle with a lot of zip on it, and it's a called strike. It's 1-1. So far, there's only been 1 hit in this game. It was made by Sturm of the Yankees. First time up, he singled to left field. There's been 1 walk. It was given to Walker in the first inning by Ruffing. Red starting his wind-up. Here's the next pitch, and Reese swings, and here's a foul. It's out of play. It's up into the stands to the right, and it's ball 1 and strike 2 on the batter. Again, Reese walks about 10 feet away from the plate and gets some dirt on his hands. Right now, he's leaning on the bat. Now he takes it in his hands, and he's starting to walk into the batter's box. He stops outside the box. He hasn't stepped in yet. Now he steps up in there, and Ruffing has his back to him. Big Red is looking around the infield and the outfield. He's turning around. Nobody on for Brooklyn, and 2 out in the first half of the second. No score. Now Ruffing, arms at his side. He's getting ready. He leans on that right foot. He's starting his wind-up. Here's the next pitch to Reese. It's the ball. It's in close, and it's 2-2. Ball 2 and strike 2 for Reese. Remember the second game of the series here at Yankee Stadium tomorrow, and then the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, if necessary, at Brooklyn, and then, if necessary, the 6th and 7th back at Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium is jammed today to the rafters. Ball 2, strike 2 for Reese. Here comes the next pitch. He swings, and there's a high fly ball into left field. The left fielder is under the ball and should get it. Keller is standing right under it. He caught it, and it retires the side. And so in that inning, it was 3 up and 3 down. Medwick struck out. Lavagetto bounced out to the shortstop, Rizzuto, and Reese flied to Keller. 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors. And that's the end of the first half of the second inning.
How would you like a lifetime souvenir of the World Series? Well, here it is. The World Series special Gillette Tech Razor with its 24-karat gold-plated head and ebonized metal handle. I could talk all day about the quick, easy shaves it gives, but Joe Medrick puts it this way. Take it from me, the Gillette Tech is by all odds the easiest shaving razor I ever laid against my face. And fans, you can take it from Joe, for he has a beard you can scratch a match off. Does this handsome razor cost a pile of money? No, it's only 49 cents, complete with 5 Gillette Blue Blades, the sweetest shaving combination any man ever used. Ask your dealer for the World Series special Gillette Tech Razor and get a new shaving thrill.
Well, fans, we're going into the last half of the second inning of the ball game. No score on either side. Big Charlie Keller swinging a couple of bats down here to the right side of the plate as we look down from our mutual broadcasting booth. Now he's stepping up in there to face Curt Davis as we go into the last half of the second inning of a scoreless ball game. Dodger outfield is playing in deep and around a bit to the right. Keller, in this season, hit .298 and drove in 122 runs. The first pitch from Davis is wide, knee-high for a ball. Charlie, by the way, was second only to Joe DiMaggio in runs driven in. He led Joe for quite a while, but in the last 2 weeks of the season, DiMaggio caught him, and he drove in 125 and Keller 122. Ball, it's wide. That was very far outside. It wasn't close, and it's ball 2 for Keller. Rizzuto at third, Reese at short, Billy Herman at second, Dolph Camilli at first. The outfield is Medwick, Reeser, and Walker. The next pitch he swings, and there's a high fly ball into right center field that Reeser should have no trouble with. It's very high. He's under it, and he caught it for the first out. Into right center field, caught by Reeser, and there's one gone. Now here's Bill Dickey. Dickey hit .284 for the Yankees this year and drove in 64 runs. He's a left-handed batter and certainly no newcomer to World Series competition. Dodger outfield is playing him straight away with the right fielder plenty deep. Bill's a good pull hitter. Curt Davis is getting his time. The wind-up, here's the first pitch, and Dickey swings. There's a high-bouncing ball to Billy Herman. Coming in on the ball, there's the peg. He's out. Herman to Camilli, and there's 2 gone. The play was not close. That brings up Flash Gordon, second baseman of the Yankees, hit .277 and drove in 86 runs. Dodgers move in after that putout and pepper that ball around. Rizzuto to Reese, to Billy Herman to Camilli. Now they go back to their normal positions, and here is Gordon. Gordon batting for the Yankees with 2 out and nobody on in the last half of the second inning. There is no score on either side. Well ball game between 2 great teams. Curt Davis leans on that right foot. He's a wiry right-hander in contrast to Ruffing, who's a big burly right-hander. There's a called strike. It caught the outside corner on Gordon, right knee high, and it's a called strike on Joe. Gordon, the number 6 in the back of his white uniform, waves that down around. Curt Davis is ready again. Here's the next pitch, and there's a ball. It's wide knee high, and it's 1-1. That was a straight sidearm delivery by Davis. He's a low sidearm specialist. Curt's getting all ready again. Here's the next pitch. There's an inside pitch that Gordon swung on, waist high, and he rolled the ball foul on the ground to the left. And so it is ball 1 and strike 2 for Gordon. So far, there's only been 1 hit in the game. That was a single in the first inning by Sturm. No runs, no score on either side. Third baseman Rizzuto is playing Gordon almost on the third baseline, just about a foot from the line. Davis is getting set. Here's the next pitch. It's a ball, very close. It almost hit him in the knee, and it's ball 2 and strike 2 for Gordon. The Dodger outfield is playing Gordon as a left field hitter. They're swung way over toward the left side of the outfield. Reeser is playing him way over in dead left center. Curt Davis is getting his sign again. Ball 2, strike 2. Here's the pitch. A high bouncing ball. It's foul down the third baseline. Fletcher gets it and tosses it back to Davis. Artie Fletcher coaching at third, and Earl Combs over at first. Gordon walks out of the batter's box, dries his hands, fidgets around a bit. Now he steps up in there again and pounds his bat on the plate.
Get your peanuts here.
Ball 2, strike 2, 2 out and nobody on. Davis is winding up. Here's the pitch. He hits a foul. It's out of play. It's up into the stands here to the left, and it's still 2-2 in the batter. Now the Dodger catcher, Mickey Owen, takes his mask off. Gets a new baseball from umpire Bill McGowan of the American League and roughs it up in his hand. Tosses it back to the pitcher. Now he's stepping back in behind the plate. And Gordon is back in the batter's box. It's 2-2 on the Yankees' second base. Curt Davis is getting his sign. Now he's starting his windup. Here comes the pitch. He hits a foul out of play again behind third base. It's going into the stand. Rizzuto comes over along the box seats, but sees there's no play, and he turns around and goes back to third. There's a wild scramble for that souvenir. Davis is getting all ready. Practically everybody out here in the stands in shirt sleeves. It's a wonderful day. Pitcher's all set. Here it comes. He hits a long fly ball way back in the left field, way back. It may be a home run. It's a home run for Gordon. And the Yankees win mighty wallop, fans. That ball went very high into the air and it went very far out. Somewhere around 365, 370 feet from home plate and way up into the stands. There was no doubt about it. It was a long home run. So the honor of the first home run in the World Series goes to Gordon. Now here's the shortstop, Rizzuto. He had a fine year, and he batted in 46 runs. Score, the Yankees won, the Dodgers nothing. 2 out and nobody on in the last half of the second. Davis is getting all ready. Ball 1 for Rizzuto. Here's the pitch. He swings. There's a fly ball back into left field. Left fielder going back, turns around a couple of times. He caught it. Medwick backed up, turned around a couple of times, and he caught Rizzuto's long fly ball to retire the side. Incidentally, I want to tell you fans that on that home run by Gordon, Medwick, the left fielder, didn't move. He knew it was a home run from the time the ball was hit. And so in the last half of the second inning, the total's 1 run, 1 hit, a home run by Gordon. At the score at the end of 2 innings of play in the first game of the World Series, the Yankees won and the Dodgers nothing. Now we're going to pause for station identification. You're listening to the broadcast from Yankee Stadium in New York City of the first game of the 1941 World Series. This is the coast-to-coast network of the Mutual Broadcasting System.
This is WGN, the voice of the people, Chicago.
Well, this is Bob Elson talking to you again from Yankee Stadium. We're going into the first half of the third inning. The Yankees are out on the field. Red Ruffing is getting in his practice throws. The Dodgers are coming to bat. And the first man to come up is going to be their catcher, Mickey Owen. His average for the season is .231, and he batted in 43 runs. Owen bats right-handed. He's walking up now, and he's standing alongside the left side. He's standing alongside the plate on the left side, and he's watching Bill McGowan, the umpire, get out his whisk broom and clean off the plate. Now here's Owen up. We're starting the first half of the third. The score, the Yankees won, and the Dodgers nothing. The outfield, Yankee outfield playing Owen straight away. Red Ruffing getting his sign. He's had 2 hits so far, a single by Sturm and a home run by Gordon. Now the first pitch, and there's a strike. It's perfect right across his waist. 1 strike on Mickey Owen. Dickey waves that bat around. Ruffing leans on that right foot, swings around. Here's the next pitch. Owen swings. Here's a foul right up above our booth. In fact, it rolled on the top of it here and then back into the stand. 2 strikes for Mickey Owen. Dodgers are batting in the first half of the third. Yankees scored a run on Gordon's homer. He swings that war club around. Ruffing juggles the baseball in his glove. Now he has his sign. Starts his wind-up. Here comes the pitch. It's a slow one low outside, and it's a ball. Makes it 1-2. Owen stands in the batter's box pretty far back from the plate with his feet wide apart. Keeps moving that bat around a lot. The Yankee outfield is playing him not too deep. DiMaggio is just a few feet off the center field in left. Ruffing has the sign again. Ball 1 and strike 2 on Owen. Here comes the pitch. He hits a high fly ball into left field. Left fielder Keller goes back 10 feet. He's looking up. He's shading his eyes with his glove. He caught it, and there's 1 gone. Now here's the Dodgers' great right-hander, Curt Davis, coming out. He stops on the way out and gets the rosin bag from the bat boy and dries his hands. Davis gets a nice hand as he walks up to the plate. Going behind the umpire around to the left side, he bats right-handed. Curt Davis. And by the way, he's a pretty good hitter for a pitcher. Here's Davis up in there. Ruffing is getting his sign. Here's the first pitch, and it's a strike call right across his knee. 1 strike. Both these pitchers having fine control out there today. Ruffing has walked 1. Davis has walked none. Red starting his windup. Here's the next pitch, and Davis swings. There's a high fly ball to left field. Keller going 10 feet to his right. Again, he's shading his eyes with his glove. Moves in, takes it, and there's 2 gone. So that's 2 putouts for Keller in the first half of the third. Now we're back to the leadoff man again, Dixie Walker. Dixie Walker stepping into the batter's box. A blue 11 on the back of his gray uniform, a left-handed batter. He walked the first time up. Steps up in there now. Batting left-handed. Ruffing is all ready. Here's the pitch, and Walker swings. There's a fly ball to left field. Keller coming over near the foul line, and he's there. He caught it. And so Keller makes all the putouts. He had to run for Walker's fly ball down the left field line. He caught it about 10 feet from the foul line after a pretty good run, and it retires the side. 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, and no errors. So we're going into the last half of the third inning of the ball game. Dodgers are going onto the field. Hedwig going to left field. Rizzuto to center field. Walker to right field. Dolph Camilli to first. Billy Herman to second. Reese to short. Lavagetto to third. Owen catching, and Curt Davis pitching. First man to bat for the Yankees is going to be Big Red himself. We can say the same thing about him that we said about Davis. He's a pretty good hitter for a pitcher. Indeed, Mr. Ruffing is. In fact, he's used many times during the year as a pinch hitter. There's Ruffing coming out. He's getting a nice hand, as did Davis. Everybody gets their share of applause. This is a real baseball crowd. The Dodgers are all ready. Ruffing is carrying 2 bats up to the plate. He tosses one to the bat boy, and now he steps up in there. The umpire puts his mask on. He's getting his chest protector adjusted. The Dodger infield is set. The outfield is playing Ruffing a bit to the left, toward left field as the left field hitter. And Davis is all ready. Here's the first pitch, and it's a strike. It's perfect right across his waist. 1 strike for Big Red. The score is 1-0 in favor of the Yankees. Davis is already out there now. He's winding up. Here's the next pitch. There's a swing and a miss. The old sinker that time, and he went all the way around trying to hit it and missed it by a foot. 2 strikes on Ruffing. Hardy Fletcher and Earl Combs coaching at first and third and talking it up. Davis is all set. Here's the pitch. It's very wide, way outside that time, and it's ball 1 and strike 2 on Ruffing. First man to bat for the Yankees in the last half of the third. Pitcher Davis is ready out there now. Here comes the pitch. He swings, and there's a ground ball to the shortstop. Reese is up with it. There's the peg. He's an easy out. Reese to Camilli. Dodgers peg it around. Camilli to Owens. Lavagetto to Reese to Billy Herman. And the boys whip it around. Lots of the old spirit, dash, and pepper on both sides. Here's the leadoff man up for the second time, Sturm. First time up, he singled sharply to left field. By the way, these fences here at Yankee Stadium are well out. Down the left field line, it's about 350 feet. In the left center, it's 402, and then it swings farther out, 457. It's 461 to dead center. In right center, there's a sign 407, 367, 344, and 296 right down the right field foul line. The first pitch to him is a strike. It's called right across his knee. 1 out, Sturm batting. Yankee first baseman. Curt Davis is ready. Here's the pitch. It's a ball. He jumped away from a fast one in close, and it's 1-1. 1-1. Davis has a good fast curve and a pretty good fastball. Kurt's already out there again. Here's the next pitch. There's a ball. It just missed the corner. Waist high. Yanni was going to go for that, but he stopped in time. And umpire Bill McGowan says ball 2. So it's 2-1. Lavagetto, the third baseman, is playing in close. Davis is ready again. Here's the next pitch, and there's a swing and a bouncing ball to Camilli. Camilli has it. He's tossing the ball to the pitcher, Davis, who comes over and takes the throw, and it's an easy play. Camilli to Davis, retiring Sturm for the second out. The first baseman gets the assist, and the pitcher gets the put out, and the play was not close. Now here is Rolfe up for the second time. First time up, he bounced out to Lavagetto. Red Rolfe batting. 2 out and nobody on in the last half of the third. Red stands up in there, batting left-handed, waving that bat around. Curt Davis stands there in the center of the diamond with his arms on his side. Now he starts his windup. He's getting all ready. Here's the first pitch, and there's one over the plate, and he swings and fouls it. It rolls on the ground to the right of the plate, and it's one strike. Again, the Yankee outfield, or the Dodger outfield, moves in. They play Rolfe as a sharp hitter, a line drive hitter. They don't play him too far out. I believe that the right fielder Walker is playing just about 10 or 15 feet deeper than the center fielder or the left fielder, because Rolfe is a pretty good pull hitter. When he pulls that ball into right field, gets pretty good distance on it. There's the next one, and he bounces it foul down the first base line. Earl Combs, the coach down at first base, grabbed it and tosses it back to Davis. Davis stands out there on the mound, his right foot forward. Rolfe waves that bat around. There's 2 out. Nobody on in the last half of the third. The score, the Yankees 1, Brooklyn nothing. Starting his windup again. Here's the pitch. He swings, and there's a long foul up into the upper deck on the right field line. Looks like a customer up there stabbed it. Mickey Owen gets a new baseball from Bill McGowan, steps out in front of the plate, roughs that ball around in his hand, says something to Curt Davis, and then throws him the ball. Curt has a count of strike 2 on Rolfe. Here comes the pitch. It's a ball wide, and it's 1-2. Ball 1 and strike 2 for Red Rolfe. Dodgers keep up the old chatter out there in the infield. Davis is getting his sign again. He's starting his windup now. Here's the pitch. He struck him out. He went all the way around for a fastball across his waist, and Rolfe struck out. And so in the last half of the third inning, Ruffing bounced out. Sturm was out on an easy play at first, and Rolfe struck out to retire the side. That's the end of the third inning.
Here's an invitation to you World Series fans. Accept from your dealer a 25-cent tube of Gillette shaving cream, either lather or brushless, free, with the purchase of 10 easy-shaving Gillette Blue Blades for only 49 cents. We are sure, yes, absolutely sure, that you'll get matchless shaving speed and comfort. Bob?
Well, here are the 3-inning totals, fans. Just for checking purposes, I imagine a lot of you fans across the country, or wherever you happen to be listening to this Gillette broadcast, are keeping your own scorecard or scoreboard. The Dodgers, nothing across for 3 innings, and the Yankees across for 3 innings, 1 run and 2 hits. There's only been 1 walk so far in the ball game. That was to Walker. You know, shaving as easy as taking a base on balls when you use one of those World Series Gillette Tech razors. The first man to bat for the Dodgers in the first half of the 4th inning is going to be Billy Herman. There's Bill down there waving that bat around. He's just walking into the batter's box now. The first time up, he bounced out to Rolfe, and he's coming up now for his 2nd World Series appearance in this game. The right-handed batter, and remember the Dodgers are trailing by a run. It's 1-0, favor the Yankees as we go into the first half of the 4th. All right, here's Billy Herman. Yankee outfield is playing him around a bit to the left. But Billy's the kind of a hitter, it's pretty hard to play him. He can hit that ball any place. Pitcher's getting all set. Here's the first one, and it's a strike call. It's right over the outside corner, waist high. Billy Herman up. Billy stands pretty far back from the plate. He's waving that bat around. Big Red is getting his sign. Here's the pitch. There's an attempted bunt, and he popped it into the stand. Attempting to bunt that ball, a fastball, high. Billy Herman popped it into the stands just back of the Yankee dugout. And so it's 2 strikes on Bill. Walks back up in there again. Ruffing has his back to him, and now he's turning around. He has his glove off. Hooked on his left arm. Smooths that ball around, getting some of the shine off it. Nobody on, nobody out. It's the first half of the 4th inning. Now Billy Herman's waiting. Ruffing is all set. Here comes the pitch. It's a ball, a little bit high that time, and it's 1-2. Ball 1 and strike 2 for Billy Herman. Billy fidgets around with his cap a bit. Now he leans over, swings that bat around. Ruffing is all set. Here comes the next pitch, and it's very wide. A ball makes it 2-2. Ball 2 and strike 2 for Billy Herman. Batting for the Dodgers in the first half of the 4th, with the score against them 1-0 on Gordon's home run wallop in the 2nd. A long smash into the left field seat. Red scrapes his left foot across the pitching rubber, slips his glove back on, thumps the ball in the glove a few times. Infield, outfield, all set. Now Ruffing leans on the right foot, swings around. Here comes the next pitch, and Billy Herman takes a ball. It missed the corner, knee high. Ruffing fired in the fastball that time that just missed the corner, knee high, figuring that Billy might go for that, but Bill wouldn't, and he's worked up a count now of 3-2. After having a 2-strike count, Herman has been very patient, and it's now 3-2. Ruffing is already out there again. Here's the next pitch. He swings. There's a long foul. It's out of play down the left field line. It's going into the stand, and it's still 3-2 in the bat. Bill McGowan tosses a new ball into play. The outfield for New York, Keller in left field, DiMaggio in center field, and Henrich in right field. Ruffing pitching for the Yankees, and Davis pitching for the Dodgers. A swell ball game. Now Red stands there. He's starting his windup again. Here's the next pitch to Billy Herman. He swings, and there's a foul. It's up here into the stands to our right, and it's still 3-2 on Bill. Bill's got his eye on the ball. Walks out of the batter's box again. Number 16 in the back of his blue-gray uniform. He's walking up in there again. Billy Herman played a lot of baseball for the Dodgers this year after coming to Brooklyn from the Cubs. Ruffing has his sign. He's starting his windup. Here comes the next pitch to Herman. Herman swings, and there's another foul. Off to the right. It goes into the lower stands, and it's still ball 3 and strike 2 for Billy Herman. Batting for Brooklyn in the first half of the fourth. Nobody on, nobody out. The score, the Yankees 1 and Brooklyn nothing. Next man to come up will be Rosar, and then the first baseman, Dolph Camilli. Ruffing takes considerable time out there between every pitch. Walks around, picks his cap off, fidgets with the baseball. Now he's facing the batter, but he's not ready. Now he drops his arms to his sides, and that's a tip-off that he's going to start his windup. He does. Here comes the pitch, and Herman swings, and here's a foul. It's out of play. It's going into the stands here to our right. And that's about 5 or 6 or 7 fouls as Billy Herman is distributed around to this World Series crowd. Don't think they don't fight for those baseballs for souvenirs. Boy, I've seen them fans dive onto the floor and tip over chairs and everything for an average baseball, and then just an ordinary ball game. You can imagine what they do for a World Series ball. Nobody on and nobody out for the Dodgers. Score 1-0 against them. Herman is the first man up. Ruffing is all ready again. Here's the next pitch. He swings, and there's a bouncing ball to the shortstop, Rizzuto. There goes the peg. He's out. Rizzuto to Sturm. It's an easy play, and there's one gone. Yankees peg it around. Now the next batter is Rosar, center fielder. Petey, a left-hand hitter. Petey comes from out our way down there in southern Illinois. Petey Rosar, the great center fielder of the Dodgers, the left-handed hitter. Led the National League in hitting, the swell average of 343. The first pitch to Rosar is a strike. It's called. It's right across his waist. Rosar hit 343 and drove in 74 runs. First time up today, flied out to DiMaggio. Third baseman Rolfe is playing in a little bit close. Here's the next pitch. Rosar swings and drives a long foul down the left field line. It's 2 strikes. Ruffing has not allowed a hit. Davis has allowed 2 hits, a single and a home run. I tell you those things just to keep you posted, and especially for the benefit of those of you who might be tuning in late. I understand, and I feel sure that it's not possible for a lot of our listeners to stay tuned to the whole ball game, and so I hope that you won't consider that repetition. I just want to keep everybody posted. Charlie's getting all ready. Here's the next pitch, and there's a ball. It's inside high. Petey got out of the way in a hurry from that Ruffing fastball, and it's ball 1 and strike 2. Yankees keep up the old chatter out there in the infield. It's the Brooklyn half of the 4th inning. 1 out, nobody on. Ball 1 and strike 2 for Rosar. Here comes the pitch. It's a slow one, a little bit high, and it's 2-2. Ball 2, strike 2 for Petey Rosar. Petey walks out of the batter's box and dries his hands. Now he's up in there again. He's a little fella, but he can really give that ball a ride. Ruffing stands behind the pitching rubber. Now he steps up onto it. The Yankee outfield is playing Reeser straight away. Charlie's all ready. Here comes the next pitch. He swings and he's struck out. He foul tipped that ball, but Dickey held it, and Reeser is out on strike. And so that's another strikeout for Ruffing. It's 1, 2, 3 strikeouts for Big Red. Now the next man to come up is Dolph Camilli. Camilli was the strikeout victim himself the first time up. Big fellow, a left-handed batter. He's digging in up there now. Camilli had a great year with 120 runs driven in. Here's the first pitch to Camilli, and he swings, and there's a high foul that's going into the stands behind third base, and it's a foul strike. In batting practice out here today, Camilli, DiMaggio, and Keller really gave him a ride. Oh, they hit him in those stands in left field, center field, and right field. Hit that ball a mile. Red Ruffing pulls his cap down firmly on his head. 2 out for Brooklyn. First half of the fourth, and nobody on. Dodgers are still shooting for that first hit. Here comes the next pitch, and Camilli takes a called strike right across his waist. It was a fastball by Ruffing. It was right over the outside corner, waist high for a called strike. 2 strikes on Camilli. Johnny Corridan is now coaching at first base for Brooklyn. Charlie Dresden is over at third. Leo Droscher is directing play from the Dodger dugout, which is down here to the right of our mutual broadcasting booth.
Peanuts here.
Ruffing is all set again. Here's the next pitch. He struck him out again. Camilli went for a fastball right up around his shoulders, and he struck him out. And so in the first half of the fourth inning, Herman bounced out, Reeser struck out, Camilli struck out, 3 up and 3 down. That is the end of the first half of the fourth.
Well, it started, fans. The annual parade of telegraph messages to our radio booth is underway. And here's the first wire. It's from Claire F. Allen, President Callahan Drugstores, Wyandotte, Michigan. He wires, Advanced Sales World Series Combinations Greatest Hour History. Have reordered, fearing sellout next 48 hours. Is this unusual? Not by a long shot. You should see more of these wires. Men sure know a bargain when they see one. Shavers are going for this combination, and why not? Believe me, you hit the jackpot in comfort and save plenty to boot when you get a 25-cent tube of Gillette shaving cream free with the purchase of 10 improved Gillette Blue Blades for only 49 cents. Better drop in at your dealers today. When the supply is gone, that's all there is. There just isn't any more. But there's a lot more to this ball game. Here's Bob.
We're going into the last half of the fourth inning, fans, of this great ball game. First game of the World Series at Yankee Stadium. Here's Tommy Henrich, their right fielder, up. Tommy bounced into a force play the first time up. He's a left-handed batter. Here's the first pitch from Davis, and it's a strike. Gets called right across his waist. Henrich batting. Nobody on, nobody out. The Yankees lead 1-0 in the last half of the fourth. Both teams playing airtight ball. Pitcher's ready. Here's the next pitch, and Henrich hits a pop-up in the infield. The shortstop is backing up. It's an easy play, and the shortstop, Reese, backs up just about 10 or 15 feet for Henrich's pop-up, and there's one gone. Here's Joe DiMaggio. DiMaggio, the first time up, flied out to Joe Medwick in left field. Joe's backing up a few feet out there in left field. Reeser is playing DiMaggio in left center. And the right fielder, Walker, is moving over now a bit towards center field. They play DiMaggio as a left field hitter or a center field hitter. Curt Davis is getting ready. Here's the first pitch to Joe, and he swings. There's a long fly ball way back into left field. Left fielder Medic is back. It may be. He leaps up, and he caught that ball with one hand. What a play. Joe Medwick went back to the wall in left field, 370 feet from home plate, leaped up and made a gloved hand stab of DiMaggio's long drive. Listen to the cheering. Fans, that was really a beautiful play. So far, of course, this is only the first game, but that was a fielding gem so far of the series. It looked like a home run. I hesitated because the ball was very high, but it was way back. Ledwig backed up right against the fence in front of the box seats, which extend across in front of left field and out into center field. He backed up, timed his leap perfectly, went into the air, and came down, fell down with the ball touched in his glove. Gee, that was a beautiful play.